Hello, second grade. This is Miss Keeley. I hope you guys were able to do some of the little practice papers that I had in the packet for you that I sent home. If you did not get it, I did attach it to the Google Classroom. But so today we are going to actually start a project. Now, some of the materials that I might show you in the video, you might not have at home, so I will give you some options as to what you could use instead. But so the first thing that you are going to need is a blank piece of paper. If you happen to have like a dry erase board, which is what is on the screen in front of you. So I just had like a little dry erase board, and then I have a printout of how to draw a sea turtle. If you can't really see that too well, then I can attach it to the Google assignment so that way you can kind of see it a little bit bigger. But so first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to practice drawing the sea turtle. Okay, so before we actually even start, so what you will be drawing on if you're using a piece of paper, that's going to be a practice piece of paper. So I'm going to press play. And so we're basically just following step 1, step 2, step 3. So step 1 is drawing the shell. You want to make sure that you draw it big so it kind of fills the paper, but not too big that you're not going to be able to fit the arms and legs and heads and whatnot. And you can see here, I drew it once and I did not like the way that I drew it. That's why we're practicing to kind of figure out the way that you want it to look. It's kind of like an oval shape, but it's a little bit wider at the top. Almost reminds me of like a shield shape. So then step 2 is drawing the head. So it's just kind of like an upside down U shape, kind of goes up and then back down. Then we have the arms. Try your best with the arms. They don't need to be perfect. I kind of went and added a little bit of extra detail with like the little bumpy line on the under part of the fins. And then the legs are a little bit smaller. Again, these are kind of more like organic shapes that we're drawing. They're kind of bumpy. They're not supposed to be kind of smooth, perfect lines. Number 5, don't forget the little tail. And then number 6 is drawing another like inner line of the shell of your turtle. So it should just kind of be a little bit smaller than the actual shell sitting inside. Next step can be a little bit tricky. So I'm drawing two, I'm going to pause it there. I just drew two kind of parallel horizontal lines, almost like an equal sign, but there's a big space. And then I'm drawing kind of like a sideways V to connect those points. And so I just drew a hexagon, okay? So I know that that is a shape that can be a little bit difficult for some of you guys to draw, but try your best, okay? Again, it does not need to be perfect. This is a practice round, and even in your actual project, it doesn't need to be 100% perfect. Just kind of go with it, try your best. The next thing that we're going to do is we're going to draw 2 or 3 lines. So I'm going to press play. So there's 1, 2. I was able to fit 2, and then they are same thing, those two kind of like sideways V's out, and then you're just connecting every point outwards. I know that this is going a little bit fast, but you guys can always kind of pause the video to see and rewind it and go back to steps that you might not get. And then the outside shell part is just like little lines connecting that inner circle or that inner shell shape to the outside. Okay, it's important, I'm going to pause it here for a second. It's important that when you had drawn all these different little sections inside your shell that you drew them big, because later on in the project we are going to be filling each of these little areas with a different pattern, okay? If you want to get really creative with it, and I know you guys often do think of really creative things to add to our projects, especially when we're in the classroom, you could add eyes, you could add little details to the fins, the legs, the tail. But so I think in the next step, so yeah, yep, there I go. I'm going to add just a little eye. We are viewing the turtle from like above, down onto its back, so your eyes might not be as big as you see, but you guys can really create it however you want. And then in a second here, I think I'm going to get an actual piece of paper, and I'm going to talk to you about the supplies that we are able to use. So I'm going to pause it here for a second. All you guys really need is just a normal like printer paper, or if you happen to have drawing paper, awesome. It doesn't need to be as big as what's on the screen. So I was using, I think, like maybe like a 10 by 18 piece of paper, one of those bigger size papers that we've used in class before. If you happen to have big drawing paper or like a drawing pad of paper, go ahead and use that. If not, just use a normal printer paper. That is totally fine. I'm trying to make this something everyone can do at home. And then the next thing, let's see, I'm either going to have you write your name or I'm going to talk about the supplies. I'm just getting my things adjusted. So let's see. Yep. So on the back, I want you guys to remember to write your name and your class code. That way, when we are back in school, I can kind of collect these and hang them up. Flip your paper over. And then I'm going to pause it here. In class, we were going to use kind of these little ink bottles to draw our turtles. Clearly, we are not in our classroom, so you are going to just kind of have to be able to use whatever you have at home. If you have a black marker, that would work perfectly. Black Sharpie. If you are going to choose a black Sharpie, make sure you put something underneath your paper so it doesn't bleed through. You could use a black colored pencil, you could use a black crayon. If you don't have any of those, your pencil would be fine, just you would need to press a little bit harder than usual, okay? So I'm going to just, in the video, I'm already using my ink bottle, but yeah, this is where you could use a marker or another material that you have. And so basically, we are going to be drawing our turtle. You can draw it out in pencil first. With these ink bottles, I didn't want you to draw in pencil first because the ink bottle is a much wider tip and surface than a pencil tip. So if we had drawn in pencil first, we might have drawn our things a little bit too small. And then when we went over it in this black ink, it may have been a little bit too difficult for us to go back over. But so essentially what you're going to be doing is drawing your turtle again. And I want you to remember to draw big, not too big that you are having it not be able to fit on your paper, but we want it big enough so that it fills a lot of your space. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm redrawing everything that we just practiced. So the shell, the head, the arms. Again, you guys can put any little artistic twist you want on it. Your arms don't need to look exactly like that. The head doesn't need to look exactly like that. You guys can kind of create it however you want. So I'm just taking my time to draw it out. Going for my legs next. Trying to make them look kind of the same on both sides. Don't forget my little tail. And then we have that inner shell shape. It's just the same shape of the shell, but it's a little bit smaller set inside. And again, we want to make sure that we leave lots of room inside the shell for some designs. Again, here comes the tricky part of drawing a hexagon. You do an equal sign and then connect it with a sideways V out. Draw your two lines and then sideways V's out, connecting, connecting, connecting. And then anywhere you see a point, you are going to just draw a line going out. If you don't like the way that that shell looks, obviously you guys can kind of make it your own. I love it when you guys kind of create your own things. And then the last step is just drawing those little connecting lines out to give a little bit more detail in our turtles. And then again, of course, eyes, details in the arms and legs if you want to. I think I always like to do like little bumpy areas to make it look like a textured bumpy sea turtle. Okay. So when you guys are doing this again, I want you guys to make sure that you're having fun. This is not supposed to be a stressful thing. If you don't happen to have like any art supplies at home, feel free to email me or have one of your parents or whoever you live with email me. I can figure out maybe something that you can do. Um, but yes, so this should be, this is all what's going to be for this 1 week. I only see you guys once a week. And for this at-home learning, the admin team asked that our art classes and related arts are only 10 minutes long. So take your time, work on it for 10 minutes. Next week is when I'll be posting kind of what is going to be the next step. So you shouldn't be doing anything more than what we see in this video. Okay? I hope you guys have fun. Feel free to send me a picture. I did attach a video of how to upload your artwork. So you can attach it into the assignments. If that doesn't work, send me a picture through email, and that way I can check off that you guys did this week's assignment. All right, have fun, and bye.